Hello and welcome. It's the completion of day number 22, month number 10, and year number 2019. My name is Derek. All bets, trades of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. This is sort of a private video, but not really, as this has been sent to an email to obviously, hey, we've known each other now for our whole lives basically. And it's interesting because what I want to do is, I got a system that like a truck driver, a dentist, any regular profession person, as long as they have decent computer literacy, can do what's needed to be done here, can win in this game while holding, of course, your own coins that are very easy to turn into everyday things, precious metals, and really cash for that matter as well. Yeah, cash and other regular things are different. Anyway, we got Theta, and of course we're trading this, and it's up right now. We seen earlier this was at 1115 basis points. Now it's 1186. Differential just from 1900 hours is 70 or so. That's about 6-7%. Not bad, but that's only the 1 minute time frame. On the 1 hour, we can see that just earlier before this was at like 1033, so it's up like 150 basis points. Now that's near the area of 14-15%, and this thing is just flying right now towards the upside. And I know you don't understand a lot of these charts. I know some people watching these videos do, but the more you get into it, actually, the easier it is. For myself, it was 2007 when we'll say which name? How would you recognize the name? We'll say Sean. Yeah, there's a lot of people named Sean. You know who I mean with Sean. He mentioned that of trading and everything, and yeah, it took a while for me, but it's something that is, of course, very, very profitable. Lots of ways. Of course, the one I got is one that's just so easy. You just wait for the numbers to move in your favor, and that's what you do. And right now, 1187 is an amazing sell point, and we can probably get better. 1400 is where the key number is, and that's where I think we should want to really look towards making the plays. Now, if you sell now at 1200, then it goes to 1400. It's going to go up another like that of like 17, 18%. So you just trade once, you'll trade Theta, and of course we're trading it with Ripple, and we'll do it again. But this 1400 area, this is where I think a little pop will end up going towards these markets. And I have yet to have one person follow me in this game, and I think you're going to be the first. And doing so, make a whole shit load of money. Anyway, throwing that aside, uh, just quickly, this is where you really want to have sell orders in. So if you want to play the aggressive game, wait over the morning. Either way, uh, if you sell now, I'm putting a sell order here. I'd sell 20% or so what you got right here. Whatever, stuff like that. Just do those orders in, play it for what it's worth. But it could easily break that. The way these cryptos go, the way these coins can go up. I mean, it's done it before. We see back in here, like holy shit, this thing went from where we are now, 1200 up to 5, and even that is going to be well exceeded in times. I really really believe that's going to be the case where having like I've been talking to you before about 3 or 4x, like 100 to 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 x returns over several hundreds of really over really maybe up to 1,000, but even as low as 2, 3, 400 days to get to extreme games. It's been very dry lately as far as yada yada yada. Myself, I think was like 48 hours. I didn't even make a trade. Not one single trade. And even before then, it was like a 24-hour period. And the trade I made was like my lowest pairing, which is like worth like it's like well, it's actually the Theta fuel coin. I actually made a trade on. I only got like a decently over $100 worth of it. It's not much. So I really can't trade much when I'm doing. I'm talking like $15, $20 trades. And then yesterday, things are starting to pick up. I made a few. Today's been a relatively busy day. It could be busier as far as getting a trade volume is concerned. But anyway, again, let's take a look at what Ripple is doing. And over the last few days, it's been having a decent amount of gains, but obviously not going up anywhere near the same rate of ascent as just since October the 10th, that's 12 days ago, it's up like, somewhere close to 10%. We can put a chart putting the two together of both Ripple and Theta. And this is what it looks like as it was running good for a while. And you recently just sold some Ripple for Theta. Can't remember how many days ago it was, which we'll talk later about that. But regardless of the fact, it's starting to move down here. So one of the aggressive plays is, I'm just going to take a chance and wait. Because that 1400 number, put that seller in there, wait for the price to get there. Maybe even sell it for like 1330, 1320 Theta. And then get a good deal. You could probably put up like a quarter of the Theta that you own by doing that. And then you just flip it back and whatever amount of Ripple, or excuse me, whatever amount of Theta you sell for in either Bitcoin, you can take the Bitcoin market, the Ethereum market, or the US dollar Tether market. They all have good Ripple and Theta markets to do it with. And among such, we say, want to see these things just have these wild moves. And I'm very confident they're going to do, because a lot of what I'm expecting and hoping that these things do is just a bunch of these up and down big choppy moves where it's just so profitable mathematically within the strategy that I talk about to get extreme gains. And then when these coins are very big against the dollar, ooh, it's going to be a lot of fun. But of course, we're a long ways away. We're, of course, like I've been mentioning, we're in the accumulation mode. We're basically on strong accumulation mode, and of course, Bitcoin having another leg lower, go to very, very strong. But as it goes, there's going to be situations where it's like, okay, the accumulation mode turns into neutrality, where you just, if you're looking to get in and out of Bitcoin, meaning get in, well, if you're not in, it's always a good time. And if you're looking to progress more and further, like put in so much of your weekly paychecks, kind of stuff like that, you put in a little less maybe, or you wait for dips on the downside for those days to be good. And then when you get into distribution mode, well, there's no reason for you to put your paychecks in anymore, because you're probably now making more with this than you're doing with the other one, with your jobs. And now you're like, okay, now how do I want to distribute? Okay, I've already made, for every 1 unit I start off, maybe you get to the point where you've tripled 4x moved up. And now you can take 20% or whatever, a decent amount. Like, man, that's a decent withdrawal. And I keep a whole bunch back. I can keep playing this. And then when it gets so extreme where you have like, to get to those like 500, 1400x kind of moves, well, I mean, holy shit. Now you can start to talk about taking 20, 30% fields out, and then accumulating gold, silver along the way, and then wait for gold and silver to do these same types of things. I mean, that's going to be fun to sell those basically. That's going to be fun to sell when those days come into play. But we'll talk about that much later, because it's also in the same accumulation mode on pretty heavy terms there as well. At least against the dollar, it is. And yeah, so that is basically the key part amongst where this strategy is going to come into play. But because Theta is live right now, it's one of those live markets, then we have to make sure. And I don't know why my other 18 is not in play, but I know they just changed. Well, I'll look at that later. But the whole aspect of this is playing the game to get the big number scores. For myself, I'm trading this against, like, I got like, I don't know, 20 or 20, even more than 20, maybe 25, 26, 27 different ratio pairs. Some of them I play extremely aggressive, where you look for big moves, and you can try to, if it works out. And look at this, I got an alert, 1207. So now what this is telling me, and I can see this right now, just this is going on, that this is at 290. That Theta is now in a breakout stage. So this is a spot short term, where this thing is going to go moving really wildly. I'm going to end the video soon, because I'm most likely going to have to do some trades. Did I accidentally delete or something? I'll refresh it later maybe, but I'm using my 18 average of lows. But it means here that this thing in the next like 20 minutes, hour, we could easily be seeing 13, 1400 then. Because when they move in this nature and they break the shorter term levels of resistance, it can just be wild. And as we see this, and again, there should be a line below here. So for now, just ignore the line. But as far as just understanding these green and red candles, green being up, red being down, I'll just quickly go over something fast when you see this. If you see this up move, this big wild plays, that does increase. Every time it gets big, the potential for another bigger move forward, it's just there. And then when you have this pattern, which is we're just seeing it happen now, is the second time in this we see it. You go up and you have this wild sideways moves where it just has good some red or one or two or three of these nice up and down volatile moves. Doesn't go anywhere near these big levels where it came from, but it can give a good retracement, which was exactly what the case was. And then you have a huge move. And then you can see in here how it just had this sideways consolidation here, and it has just broken it pretty big. As far as some of these previous levels, we can see how many times it got up to this right around this 11, 16 area. So it had that clear breakout. I'm going to stick a line on here because we're going to take a look at this again shorter term. Right there, we'll put a line, and now we'll take a look at this, say, on, I must go to 1. And I've also fixed my 18 so it's got the lows on there as I like to have it. So it got up to this line, we can see at 17:30, 5:30 p.m. And it gets above it. So when you see something like this, it just keeps on hitting it like it did many times. That's a good signal. And then it got above it here. So again, big signals at 8 o'clock. Comes up, has that move. So those are those two moves that the first one and the second one, how it had this correction mode. It has now just broken above this short-term level of resistance at 1200. And each time you like looking at this here, the one play as far as technical analysis is concerned is just, hey, oh, here's a strategy to play. You see this and you know that if you could get in on a long position here, long meaning to go higher, then you could easily get in and just scoop in some profits here. And now the same thing is true again. Now it's like, oh, so this is like a buy time now kind of deal. And then, of course, you're expecting, of course, this to go to, well, even up to that 1400 number, really, as far as where we're going. And just basic strategies are, if you could sell up here, there were some opportunities to buy back here. You got like 1196, like 1150, that's like 3-4%. I mean, that's really short-term trading, but if you can get a lot of volume in doing stuff like that, those gains can work exponentially as well. Again, many different ways at winning at this game, and I'm only going to talk about a few on here because there's a whole bunch of beauties that I'm not even close to knowing how they would work. Because again, there's so many ways to win at this tremendous game. Alrighty, well, talk to you later on and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.